जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी राधा। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावन चारी यमुना तीरावन चारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरावन चारी यमुना तीरावन चारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 राम राम राम। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभयचरण अरविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रीला भक्ति सिद्धांत सच ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज श्रीला प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से बोलो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की है। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की है। वृंदावन धाम की, मायापुर धाम की, नवदीप धाम की, अयोध्या धाम की, गंगा माई की जय, यमुना माई की, तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्री श्री गुरु एंड श्री गौरंग, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्रीला प्रभुपाद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Pankajnabhaya Namo Pankajmaline Namo Pankajnetraya Namaste Pankajangrahe. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, Text 41. Prahlāda, the saintly son of Hiraṇyakaśipu. Pare Brahmani Anirdeshye Bhagavati Akhilatmani Yuktatmani Afala Asanna Apunyasyeva Satkriyaha Pare Brahmani Anirdeshye Bhagavati Akhilatmani Yuktatmani Afalasanna. Asan. Okay. No asan. Asan. Afala asan. Okay. Pare Brahmani Anirdeshe Bhagavati Akhilatmani Yuktatmani Afalasan Apunyasyeva Satkriyaha. Yes, Prabhu. Hare Brahmani Anirdeshe Bhagavati Akhilatmani Hare Brahmani Nirdeshe
Pare Brahmani Anirdeshe Bhagavati Akhilatmani Yuktatmani Apala Asan Apunyasyeva Satkriyaha.
Pare, in the Supreme, Brahmani, Absolute, Anirdeshe, who is not perceivable by the senses, Bhagavati, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Akhilatmani, the Super Soul of everyone, Yuktatmani, on he whose mind was engaged, Prahlāda, Aphala, without effect, As, Var, Apunyasya, of a person who has no assets in pious activities, Iva, like Shat Kriya, good activities, like the performance of sacrifices or austerities. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charan Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Even though a person who has no assets in pious activities performs some good deed, it will have no result. Thus the weapons of the demons had no tangible effects upon Prahlāda Mahārāja because he was a devotee undisturbed by material conditions and fully engaged in meditating upon and serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is unchangeable, who cannot be realized by the material senses, and who is the soul of the entire universe. Purport. Prahlāda Mahārāja was constantly and fully engaged in the thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As it is said, Govinda Pararirambhitaha. Prahlāda Mahārāja engaged himself always in meditation, and thus he was protected by Govinda. Just as a small child on the lap of his father or a mother is fully protected, a devotee in all conditions is protected by the Supreme Lord. Does this mean that when Prahlāda Mahārāja was attacked by the demons, the Rakshasas, Govinda was also attacked by the demons? This is not possible. There have been many attempts by the demons to hurt or kill the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he cannot be injured by any material means because he is always in transcendence. Therefore, the words Pare Brahmani are used here. The demons, the Rakshasas, can neither see nor touch the Supreme Lord, although they may superficially think that they are striking the Lord's transcendental body with their material weapons. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is described in this word as Anirdeshe. We cannot understand him to be in a particular place, for he is all-pervasive. Moreover, he is Akhil Atma, the active principle of everything, even material weapons. Those who cannot understand the position of the Lord are unfortunate. They may think that they can kill the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotee, but all their attempts will be futile. The Lord knows how to deal with them. I think this was covered yesterday, and I was asked to continue till 51. I think Amog Leela Prabhu, you covered this one yesterday, right? Yeah. So we'll continue till 51 because 51 has a purport. So we'll go till that. Text 42. My dear King Yudhishthir, when all the attempts of the demons to kill Prahlāda Mahārāja were futile, the king of the demons, Hiraṇyakaśipu, being most fearful, began contriving other means to kill him. 44. Hiraṇyakaśipu could not kill his son by throwing him beneath the feet of big elephants, throwing him among huge, fearful snakes, employing destructive spells, hurling him from the top of a hill, conjuring up illusory tricks, administering poison, starving him, exposing him to severe cold, winds, fire and water, or throwing heavy stones to crush him. When Hiraṇyakaśipu found that he could not in any way harm Prahlāda, who was completely sinless, he was in great anxiety about what to do next. Text 45. Hiraṇyakaśipu thought, I have used many ill names in chastising this boy Prahlāda and have devised many means of killing him. But despite all my endeavors, he couldn't be killed. Indeed, he saved himself by his own powers, without being affected in the least by these treacheries and abominable actions. Text 46. Although he is very near to me and is merely a child, he is situated in complete fearlessness. He resembles a dog's curved tail, which can never be straightened, because he never forgets my misbehavior and his connection with his master, Lord Vishnu. Purport. The word Shunaha means of a dog, and Shepa means tail. The example is ordinary. However, one may try to straighten a dog's tail, it is never straight but always curved. Shunaha Shepa is also the name of the second son of Ajigartha. He was sold to Harishchandra, but he later took shelter of Vishwamitra, Harishchandra's enemy, and never left his side. Text 47. I can see that this boy's strength is unlimited, for he has not feared any of my punishments. He appears immortal. Therefore, because of my enmity towards him, I shall die. Or maybe this will not take place. Text 48. Thinking in this way, the king of the Daityas, morose and bereft of bodily luster, remained silent with his face downward. Then Shanda and Amark, the two sons of Shukracharya spoke to him in secret. 49. O Lord, we know that when you simply move your eyebrows, all the commanders of the various planets are most afraid. Without the help of any assistant, you have conquered all the three worlds. Therefore, we do not find any reason for you to be morose and full of anxiety. As for Prahlāda, he is nothing but a child and cannot be a cause of anxiety. After all, his bad or good qualities have no value. 50. Until the return of our spiritual master Shukracharya, arrest this child with the ropes of Varuna so that he will not flee in fear. In any case, by the time he is somewhat grown up and has assimilated our instruction or served our spiritual master, he will change in his intelligence. Thus, there need be no cause for anxiety. Last text that we are reading today is text 51. It has a good purport. After hearing these instructions of Shanda and Amark, the sons of his spiritual master Hiraṇyakaśipu agreed and requested them to instruct Prahlāda in that system of occupational duty, which is followed by royal householder families. Purport: Hiraṇyakaśipu wanted Prahlāda Mahārāja to be trained as a diplomatic king in ruling the kingdom, the country or the world, but not to be advised about renunciation or the renounced order of life. The word dharma here does not refer to some religious faith. As clearly stated, dharmo hi asya padeshtvayo rajanam yo graha medhinam. There are two kinds of royal families. One whose members are simply attached to household life, and the other consisting of Raja Rishis, kings who govern with ruling power but are as good as great saints. Prahlāda Mahārāja wanted to become a Raja Rishi, whereas Hiraṇyakaśipu wanted to become a king, attached to sense enjoyment, graha medhinam. Therefore, in the Aryan system, there is a varnashram dharma, by which everyone should be educated according to his position in society's division of varna: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra and Ashram, Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyas. A devotee purified by devotional service is always in transcendental position above the mundane qualities. Thus, the difference between Prahlāda Mahārāja and Hiraṇyakaśipu was that Hiranyakashipu wanted to keep Prahlāda in mundane attachment, whereas Prahlāda was above the modes of material nature. As long as one is under the control of material nature, his occupational duty is different from that of a person who is not under such control. One's real dharma or occupational duty is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Dharmam tu sakshat Bhagavat pranitam. As described to this, his order, careers by Dharmaraj or Yamraj, a living being is a spiritual identity, and therefore his occupational duty is also spiritual. The real dharma is that which is advised in Bhagavad Gita: Sarva dharman parityaja Mam ekam sharanam vraja. One must give up one's material occupational duties, just as one must give up his material body. Whatever one's occupational duty, even according to the varnashram system, one must give it up and engage in one's spiritual function. One's real dharma or occupational duty is explained by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu: Jivera Swarup hai Krishnera Nitya Das. Every living being is an eternal servant of Krishna. That is one's real occupational duty. So we'll stop here. We'll chant Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapad Shri Guru Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripa tam ham vande Shri Guru Dīnataranam. Hare Krishna, I am very grateful to be here today discussing Srimad Bhagavatam. My obeisances to each and every one of you, and seeking your blessings so that we can, through the words of Srimad Bhagavatam, purify our hearts and become fearless, just like Prahlāda Mahārāja. Although we cannot imitate him, but the principle remains the same, and we can try to achieve that level. So, a lot of verses we read today, starting from 42, 41 to 51, and if you see all these verses, they are mostly talking about Hiraṇyakaśipu trying to kill his own son. He's trying to murder his son. Nowadays, there is so much of child protection, especially in California. And his father here is trying to murder him. So that's pretty graphical. He's trying to kill him in so many different ways, that is described here by, throwing him beneath the feet of the elephant and throwing him under huge, fearful snakes, destructive spells, tantra mantra, and top of the hill, tricks, poison, starving him, exposing through cold winter weather and all these things. Similar things happened to the Pandavas also, where Kauravas try to kill them in so many different ways. And we are seeing this trend that devotees are always put under difficult situations. And Krishna comes and protects them. So this is what all Srimad Bhagavatam, our scriptures, are filled with, how to become fearless. Srila Prabhupada's name is Abhay Charanarvinda. Abhay Charanarvinda means one who is fearless at the lotus feet of Krishna. So there is a beautiful bhajan by poet Govinda Das. He says, Bhajahu re mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. So what Govinda says is that, my dear mind, please, Bhajahu re mana Shri Nanda Nandana, please remember Nanda Nandana, the son of Maharaj Nanda. And if you hear that, then what will happen? Abhaya Charan Arvindare. Then you will become fearless, having taken the shelter of Krishna, Nanda Nandana, Shri Shri Radha Giridhari. This morning when I came, Dravida Prabhu was chanting and he was asking, is there rain outside? And I said it was not raining because I started at I think 5:30 or something. And I came here at 6:10. So he said, oh, it's not raining, but it was predicted to be, to be raining. Then he said like this, Giridhari is holding the whole mountain. So there is no rain. So Krishna is making us all fearless, by protecting us. And one hand Krishna is holding the, Govardhan mountain, and we are all under his shade. We are getting nice prasadam. We are having nice programs. Wonderful kirtan led by Balram Prabhu this morning. So we are all happy under Krishna's shelter. There's nice painting also of Govardhan, that one. Krishna is holding the mountain. One hand is holding the mountain, other hand is playing a flute. So I'll request Dravida Prabhu to share one poem about a flute. Are you ready or should I give some time, Prabhu?
No, I can do it. Just give me 1 second.
Okay. There are a lot of mic, Prabhu, mic.
Yeah, I have the flute. And I was on my way to get the flute because I had my umbrella and I was just chanting, going on my walk. It was drizzling. And then within 5 seconds, it started pouring. I couldn't even get to my apartment. I turned around and came back. I had to borrow a dhoti from Dvija because he had got soaked. Even though I had my little toy umbrella, it didn't protect against all of it. So that's why we have a poem instead of the flute sound. You have to imagine a flute sound. So this is Rupa Goswami's Leela Chanda 36. Jagaduddhara madhuri dhurinam adunaman didamindara durapa mamatar shabadan vadanta katvan muladina dasudha dhuni dhunita. Your flute sends forth a flood of nectar sound, a river where the sweetest sweetness lies. Indeed, no better beverage can be found, yet even Shri can't drink it, though she tries. O Krishna, kindly hear this desperate plea from one now deep in misery immersed. Please let my ears drink in that melody, so that my heart may slake its burning thirst.
Okay.
Gaura Premanandi. Hari
Gaura
Hari.
Premanandi. Thank you. So, so just like Krishna is enchanting everybody with the flute and giving fearlessness to the hearts of the devotees, similarly, Prahlāda Mahārāja had steady conviction in the Lord. He was steady and he was fearless. And this was not the first time, The first time when his father asked him, what is the best thing you have learned in school? So he mentioned, oh, my father, oh, best among the demons. He said that those who cannot understand the difference between the body and the soul, they are living in a deep, dark well, Andhakupa. And they must go to forest, most probably it's Vrindavan, and take shelter of Krishna. And he was, angry at him. He asked his teacher, Shanda and Amarka, to teach him again to how to deal with diplomacy and, who's enemy, who's friend. He said, I don't want to know all this. For me, everybody is equal. I am seeing my Lord in everybody's heart. Vidya vinay sampanne brahmane gavi hastani shuni chaiva sopakecha pandita samadarshana. And this is one of the cardinal primary teachings of all the scriptures. Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, that we see the Lord within everybody's heart, and that is the real dharma. So, and then second time when Prahlāda went to school, his teachers tried to teach him. Second time, again, Hiraṇyakaśipu asked him that, okay, what is the best subject you learned? And again he said, my dear father, those who are too much attached to sense gratification. Second time is Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Pada Sevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanevedanam. So he told these are the 9 processes. And then third time he said what, Dravida Prabhu is mentioning. Third time he said that those who are too much attached, what is that verse? Matir na Krishne parato satova mito abhipadyeta graha vratanam adanta gobir vishatam tamishram puna charvita charvananam. So he said that those who are too much attached to sense gratification, they cannot understand you, my Lord. It is very difficult. My dear father, they cannot understand. And he was so much respectful to his father each and every time, and he was still steady in his determination to worship Lord Krishna. He never gave it up. He always spoke the truth, whatever was the truth. And nothing could shake his faith. And one thing that Hiraṇyakaśipu was very much frustrated was that even after putting his son under so much atrocities, he couldn't get him to hate him. When we are envious of somebody and angry on somebody, and they are relaxed, they are not disturbed, we get more angry, right? But this was an insult to the ego of Hiraṇyakaśipu, that I couldn't get my son to hate me or blaspheme me. So, because Prahlāda Mahārāja was very much focused on pleasing Guru and pleasing Krishna. That was Prahlāda Mahārāja's attitude. And obviously, in the later chapters, we will see how Prahlāda Mahārāja is again sent back to school, and he's trying to teach all his, classmates. In the recess time, he's teaching them and preaching this message about Krishna. And he's teaching that now is the time, my dear friends. There is no restriction of age or anything. You can take up this devotional service at any time. Yeah, Kaumaramācharit Pyagya. Yeah, so that will come in the future. So, and we see a common theme here about fear and fearlessness. So let us discuss what is fear. Why do we get fearful? Because here we see a contrast. Hiraṇyakaśipu was so powerful. He conquered the entire earth. He could defeat the citizens of heavenly planets, and he was fearful. And Prahlāda is 5-year-old. He just had a dhoti kurta, whatever. He didn't want anything. He didn't had anything. He was, his age was just 5 years. He didn't had any bodily strength or anything. Obviously, he had devotion to Krishna, which encompasses everything. And he is fearless. So let us discuss these two contrasting combinations, So let us start with the definition of fear. What is fear? Would anyone like to speak? What is the definition of fear? Yes. He's too fearful to define fear.
I mean, it's a kind of word that everyone knows the meaning of.
Yeah.
It's really, huh? Yeah. Well, that's where it comes from, but it's just an anxiety due to the frailty of the body. In other words, when there's some danger to the body, suddenly, because you're identifying with the body, you're thinking, I'm going to be annihilated, or I'm going to have so much pain. That seems to be. I don't know how else to.
Yeah. So fear is like something which is. Yeah. You want to speak? Yeah.
Kapiladeva speaks to his mother in the third canto that if we see, or someone, if we see ourselves even little higher than others, then this fear will be all time with us. He said that we should be equal to every living entity, not even human.
Great. You said the whole class in one line. Thank you. So fear is like losing something, especially, at the time of death. Anyways, we are going to lose everything, whether it's our body, our wealth, our intelligence, our money. We are going to lose everything. And in this world, we know that anything can be taken away at any step. Padam padam yad viptam natesham. So at any step, things can be taken away from us. And we know that people in today's world, they work so hard to get things, and they become fearful because of old age, health, vitality, and so many different things that they possess. But if you see the history, the whole history is categorized by so many wars. There have been wars, World War I, II, Vietnam War, this war, that war. If you see French history, or if you see the Indian history, and I'm only probably saying there would be Third World War, probably in future, obviously. And Fourth World War is said to be fought by bows and arrows, right? So there is fear. People have lived throughout in fear. Fear is like a constant thread that is there. If you see in this world, there are ahar, nidra, bhay, maithun. Ahar means people need food. Nidra, sleep. Bhay is fear. Maithun, obviously they need to reproduce. So all these things are needed, but fear is something that people are living in, which is a constant threat throughout. But if we experience the higher reality of Krishna, then fear does not exist. So that is what we are going to discuss. But before that, let us understand how fear is caused. So fear is caused because of different anarthas. For example, we have arrogance, right? Let's take the anartha of arrogance. So if somebody is very arrogant, then he may be very rude to others. He may say, oh, I am better than you and you are not this, that. So then he can create enemies. He or she, whatever, they can create enemies. And then based on that, they will be fearful of their position, right? So arrogance. And somebody is humbly serving Krishna, then they won't be too much fearful. How, I will explain in the next example, which is after arrogance, let's take something like ego, right? Or greed. Let's take greed. So if somebody is too much greedy, right, that I want this position, I want this power, I am the commander, I am the leader, I am the president of this, that. Yes, it's good to take credit for what you are doing, but at the same time, we have to understand that not everything, all the credit goes to us. Srila Prabhupada, after he wrote all these books, he never took credit. He said, all the credit goes to my Guru Maharaj and to my disciples. So if we take credit, then what happens? And if we don't get that respect, we don't get that position, then we become fearful of losing it, right? So that is another cause of fear. And similar to arrogance and ego, there are different anarthas like anger, lust, that are also causing us to be fearful. And the root cause is that we try to become the controller and the proprietor of the situation and the things. But we must know that Krishna is Bhoktarang Yaggatapsam Sarva Loko Maheshwaram Suhurdam Sarva Bhutanam Gyattamam Shanti. Krishna is the controller of everything. Right? If you see even us, like whatever activities we are able to do, the credit goes to so many people. It's not that just we are doing it alone. Especially for spiritual activities, the credit goes to our Guru Parampara, who has empowered us to do this. So many devotees who have helped us throughout our journey, throughout our way, right? So how can we take credit for something that we are doing alone? Yes, for few things, yeah, everybody has, different level of accepting the credits, but it's not 100% is not ours. So we must understand this, and when we understand this, we become fearless. And therefore, the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita and our scriptures is teaching us how an action is performed. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that whenever an action is performed, there are 5 different items that are responsible for it, right? The super soul, the actions, and the instruments, and so many different things. So and when we experience the higher reality of Krishna, fear does not exist. Param drishtva nivartate. When we chant the holy names of Krishna, when we take shelter of Krishna, then what happens? Then the fear goes away. So, and higher knowledge and higher taste is like sunlight. Krishna Surya Sama, Maya Haya Andhakar. So Krishna is like sunlight. Wherever sunlight is there, then there is no darkness or ignorance. Darkness actually doesn't exist. Does darkness exist? Darkness is just the absence of sunlight. So we have to acquire that knowledge. We have to take the higher taste, and then that fear goes away, which Hiraṇyakaśipu had and Prahlāda Mahārāja did not had. So I just want to tell a short story about Vishnu Chitta. So he's one of the alvars in South India. There are 12 main alvars or the priests. Based on their guidance, the whole Sri Sampradaya and all the temples and everything is built. The spiritual culture is there. So Vishnu Chitta was a very simple garland maker, tulsi garland maker. He had a tulsi garland and tulsi garden, and he would take care of all the tulsis. So one time there was a debate in that area, in that province. So this story is like 1,000 years old. It's a true pastime. It's 1,000 years old. And there was a debate in the province. And the reason of the debate was that the king, he went around the province and he wanted to understand what is the perfect liberation for life. What is the perfect way one can get liberated? So he was trying to find out, but he couldn't find the answer. So he set up a debate, and he invited all the big scholars from different parts of the country. And when the debate was going to happen the next day, a night before, this Vishnu Chitta who was a very simple devotee of the Lord. He was illiterate, he didn't know much. He was sleeping and he got a dream. And in the dream, he saw Krishna, and Krishna said, "You must go to the debate." He said, "My dear Lord, I don't know anything. I don't know these Shastras, these books and Sanskrit shloka, nothing." And the Lord said, "Don't worry, I will take care of you. I will empower you. You just go there and speak." So he became, fearless. And based on the instructions of the Lord, he went there. And the next day, when the debate was there, so everybody spoke, and Vishnu Chitta was the last person. And when he went there, he saw all these big people, and he saw a big treasure box also. And they announced that whoever wins the debate, he would get the treasure box of gold. So he was just praying to the Lord, "My dear Lord, I don't know anything," but he was just praying, and he went there, and they asked him, "Okay, what is the perfection of life, of liberation?" And then he says, "The perfection of liberation is to do loving devotional service to the Lord." And as soon as he spoke it, the treasure box fell down, and he won the debate. And everybody was so ecstatic, and drums were resounding, and he was made to sit on an elephant, and there was a procession, and he was so happy. And the king was so happy, and the king also offered him a position of a Raj Guru. The king said that you can become my guru. But he said, "No, I do not want all these positions and power and anything." He said that I just want to go back where I was. So this brings us to the end of the purport, where Prabhupada says the dharma of the soul is to be Jivera Swarup Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. So he says, "No, I do not want anything. I just want to be the servant of Krishna. I want to go back and make that tulsi, garland." And he actually went back. "Na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kame mama janmanishware bhavtat bhakti rahetu." My dear Lord, I do not wealth. I do not want women. I do not want good parentage or liberation. Even for that matter, I do not want mystic siddhis or yogic powers. I just want your loving devotional service life after life. Ahetuki apratihata. So Krishna says, that is true devotional service, without any motivation, without any interruption. And he went back to his little hut and then continued with his, services. So to remove fear, we are connecting it to the last purport, is that to be situated in a dharma. If you are situated into a dharma, we can remove fear. And what is our dharma? Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad praditam. Bhaktya to ananya shakya aham eva vidurjana. And then there is another verse in Srimad Bhagavatam which tells that, the true dharma is what Krishna is telling us, what pleases Krishna. That is true dharma. Shad Bhagavad Pranitam. Yeah, that's the same. Savai dharma paro dharma yato bhakti adokshade ahetu ki apratiyata yayatma suprasiddhati. So these are the definitions of dharma. Okay, so we know that we are the servant of Krishna, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jivera Swarup Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. So we are the servant of Krishna. Krishna is our master, and we are the servant of Krishna. So this relationship is established, or Sambandha Gyan, the relationship is established. I was hearing this morning Srila Prabhupada, and he was saying, just like in a business, you first establish relationship, with the business, and then you talk about the profit. How much profit I am going to make, right? So it's the same thing. So first we establish that relationship between Krishna and us, and then what is the next step? You have to take action. So how will you get profit in business? Is by doing some action. You can't just sit and have a relationship, You have to act. Just like in company organization interviews. So I have given like hundreds of interviews till now, corporate interviews, if not thousands. No, both ways. Yeah. I mean, I was talking about, I was interviewed hundreds of times. So because one company has like, at least like big companies like Amazon or Microsoft, they have like 8-9 rounds, 1 hour each. Big interviews are there, 1 hour. So basically they are trying to establish the sambandha with the interviewee or the candidate, whether he would be, how will he perform in the organization, because he's going to stay there for maybe 10 years, 5 years, whatever, So once you interview, it's not that you go into the company and you keep getting the paycheck and you sit there and don't do anything. You have to act, right? So once we have established the relationship with Krishna, that is the Sambandha Gyan, the next step is what? Abhideha. Abhideha means the process, like the 9 process. So the process is, we are hearing, that is an action. We are chanting, that is also an action. We are worshipping the Lord, we are offering bhoga to the Lord, we are cleaning the temple, we are cleaning the pots, so many different services. So all this is action, right? And what happens with this action, once this action is done, this action is like a bridge, So like Krishna is there, I am sitting here, all of you are sitting there. So if you have to go to Krishna, you have to cross that, whatever, barricade or that. This is called the Fountain Mandap, okay. Yeah. So Prabhupada, Ravada Prabhu has named that as nomenclature is Fountain Mandap. So you have to cross that Fountain Mandap, only then you can reach Krishna. So you have to walk. So unless you walk, you think I am just sitting here, I can go and touch Krishna, it's not possible. So we have to take action through these 9 processes, and only then we can basically reach Krishna, which is Prayojan. Prayojan means attaining the Supreme Lord. That is, attaining the loving devotional service of our Krishna. And once we develop that, we can actually become fearless. So that is very important, and this is also described by Srila Prabhupada, that one of those processes is, the process starts by hearing, as we already discussed, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. So Srila Prabhupada says that Bharat Bhumi mein janm hoilo, yar janma sarthak kori koro upkar. So he's saying that first you become learned, you become knowledgeable, you study. You cannot become a leader without knowing anything. If you don't know anything and you think I should become a leader, then I think it's like a blind man leading another blind man. So we all have to do this process first for ourselves, and then we can also preach others. This fear that we are talking about of Hiraṇyakaśipu, it can be also removed by taking shelter of Krishna, is described in the 11th canto, where Maharaj Nimi is talking to the Navyogendra. So there are 2 verses, how it relates, what is fear, and then second is, if you take to dharma, then fear will be eradicated. So I'll just read the translation of this 2 verses, 11 to 33 and 34. Sri Kavi said, I consider that one whose intelligence is constantly disturbed by his falsely identifying himself with the temporary material world can achieve real freedom from fear only by worshipping the lotus feet of the infallible Supreme Lord. In such devotional service, all fear ceases entirely. Next verse is, even ignorant living entities can very easily come to know the Supreme Lord if they adopt those means prescribed by the Supreme Lord himself. The process recommended by the Lord is to be known as Bhagavad Dharma. So the process we are talking about, Abhideha Gyan, that is Bhagavad Dharma, or devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if we talk in real life, there are so many devotees, or even Srila Prabhupada, while leaving the body, or like if you take Bhakti Tirth Swami Maharaj in New Vrindavan, Gita Nagari in West Virginia, when he was leaving his body, he had cancer, he had leg amputated, he was lying on a bed and about to leave his body. And he was telling that I can relish the nectar of the holy name so much right now in this situation that I do not want to trade this with any position in the material world. So Krishna was reciprocating so much with him at that time. Even at such a bad situation, the doctor was surprised because with this, whatever disease he had, they said that it will be so much painful throughout the body that I don't know how he's actually smiling. And he had a radiant smile on his face. So all fear is vanquished, by taking shelter of Krishna and, seeing the example of such great devotees. Srila Prabhupada, when, he was leaving his body in Vrindavan, so there is a Prabhupada quarter. There is a bed on which Prabhupada actually, left. So all the devotees go there and, chant. Last time I was there in November. So I saw His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj was there and Madhava Prabhu was chanting Kirtan and in that room. So it was such a nice environment. And somewhere I heard that Srila Prabhupada, when he left his body, he turned to one side and he looked at the picture of his Guru Maharaj and then he left his body. And then I actually saw the wall near the bed. It actually had the picture of the whole Guru Parampara, and this Guru Maharaj was there. So he was actually thanking and in some lecture I heard that. Yeah. And I saw actually the picture is there. So obviously, Prabhupada always glorified his Guru Maharaj. So, yes. So fear is eradicated by this process if we, seriously and sincerely take the shelter of Krishna through all these processes. And one of primary is obviously chanting the holy names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, in the Bhagavatam also it is said in the 11th canto, even if you blindly follow your dharma, you will be fearless. Even if you don't understand Krishna, He will protect us. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna. Krishna will always protect us. Even if you keep your eyes closed, you will not fall or stumble upon anything on this path. You will reach your destination. So there is a verse which talks about putting a blindfold. Generally, you put a blindfold, you walk, what happens? You fall down. But on this path, if you are walking, you will still successfully go. Even if you don't understand what this process is, what this mantra is, still, you see so many people without even knowing the meaning, they attain perfection for so many years. I was talking to some very senior Prabhupada disciples and they were saying that when they got the Gayatri Mantra initially, they didn't even understood the meaning of Gayatri Mantra, what it actually means. And they're just chanting, Gayatri Mantra. But it is so potent, it is so powerful that it can actually have that effect. And Gayatri Mantra actually complements the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It's not that one is better than other, but it complements the Mahamantra. So this process is like that. And when you understand that holy name is so powerful, all our sinful reactions are burned to ashes, just like a spark in a dry hay or grass can burn the entire, grass. Similarly, chanting this process can actually burn away all the sins and all the problems that we have. So when we see something other than Lord and when we disconnect people from Krishna and we try to enjoy them, then fear comes. So let us, in that consciousness, perform our devotional life, perform our spiritual practices and become fearless. So that is, and just like Prahlāda Mahārāja, although we cannot imitate him, but at least we have this high principle that he has set for us. So, those are my thoughts. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. Sorry for going out of board.
Yeah, well, it's okay. There's a song, Bajaho Re Mana. It's about fearless. Prabhupada's name comes from that song, I think. Isn't it?
What is that?
Abhaya Charanaravinda Ray.
Yeah.
His name.
Prabhupada's name.
I think it was named after that song.
Yeah.
So I put it into English.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So if you allow me, I'll just chant it real quick. And it's
I cannot
the
stop
same
you.
melody. Bajaho Re Mana. Oh, wretched, foolish mind, just give up all deceit and worship Krishna's fearless lotus feet. Don't waste this human life, stay close to devotees, and cross this worldly sea of miseries. My sleepless nights and days I've simply spent in vain, beset by heat and cold and wind and rain, while blindly serving cunning people steeped in sin, in search of fleeting pleasures of the skin. O wretched foolish mind, just give up all deceit, and worship Krishna's fearless lotus feet. Don't waste this human life, stay close to devotees, and cross this worldly sea of miseries. What joy is there in wealth and youth or sins and what joy is there in wealth and youth or sons and kin, when I can see my life is tottering, just like a drop of water on a lotus leaf. All mine just serve the feet of Lord Hari. And now this brings us back to the 9 processes of devotional service. Last verse. I long to hear and chant about my Lord Hari, remember him and serve him constantly, and pray to him and worship him and serve his feet, become his friend and give myself complete. O wretched foolish mind, just give up all deceit and worship Krishna's fearless lotus feet. Don't waste this human life, don't waste this human life, stay close to devotees and cross this worldly sea of miseries. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Nice, thank you, Prabhu. O wretched foolish mind. Anybody?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I just want
Hare.
15 seconds. Then you're on, Vijay. Just hold it 15
Just
seconds.
hold on
Yes,
15
of course, I
seconds.
can wait.
Time starts now.
We
No
had
problem.
this. I don't think anyone was here at the time. Who's here now? Maybe Balaram. When the tour came through from Alachua, you know, the kids and the men's bus and the boys' bus and the girls' bus was all here, and they were all here for class, you know. And so I said, and I was giving class. I said, what am I going to tell them, you know? So I gave this song, and I had sheets or something in it. And then we heard later on that on the way to L.A. for the Rath Yatra, they were all singing that song in English, the English song, because they hadn't seen it, and they hadn't seen any English before. So that was very fulfilling. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for sharing.
Vijay Krishna? Are you there, Vijay Krishna Prabhu?
Vijay Krishna Prabhu?
You can't hear me.
Okay. He left. Couldn't wait.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Please ask your question.
Yes, Srila Prabhu, but if a temple room devotee would like to go first, I can wait.
I think you can go. Well, that's okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so if I can go, my question is related to the translation to the first text you recited today, 7.5.41. And the quote from the translation goes as follows, quote, who cannot be realized by the material senses, unquote. And this is referring to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, obviously. So my question is, if a person comes to you, okay, so if the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be realized by the material senses, what I understand, my conclusion is that if not by the material senses, perhaps we can realize him by the spiritual senses. But the fact is that my body is not spiritual, my body is material. So the question is, how to spiritualize the senses of my material body? That is my question.
You can speak, Rohit.
The process of devotional service is purification of the mind, the senses, the intellect, and everything. There is a verse, Adakshi Krishna Namani Namave Grayam Indriyai. With our present senses, we cannot understand the reality of the name, form, qualities of Krishna. But just by beginning to serve him with the tongue, and when that purification, as it becomes successful, Krishna progressively reveals himself we can't by our own senses, but if we do the purification process, then Krishna will respond and reciprocate accordingly and reveal himself.
Yes, yes. And what about Dravida Prabhu? You giving me specifics? What should I do with my tongue?
Chant Hare Krishna. I'm sorry, I didn't mention the essence. Chant the holy name, and with your ear, hear. Don't have to, don't overthink it. Just as Maharaj would say, just chant and hear very closely, and everything will follow. Then you become interested. And then when you come to class, you want to read the book, but then you keep chanting and hearing.
Yes, of course. Dravida Prabhu, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
I just want to add, as a scientific mind, to what Dravida Prabhu said. Chanting the names of Krishna. You can say that sound is also material. So many people speak so many things, right? That is also material. But the scripture says, Golokera premadana harinama sankirtana. So this is coming from transcendental realm. So this is not spiritual sound vibrations. That is why when we, although it is sound is material, but this sound vibration is transcendental, and therefore we are coming in contact with the transcendental sound vibration, and it can touch our soul, it can touch our consciousness, and we can understand Krishna.
It's
Achintya, yeah.
This sound is contaminated, taken to hell. That sound
Yes. Yes.
Who can fathom how that works? But you got to get it in the right source.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji.
But this sound, how to say, when we vibrate, and if Krishna decided, he can descend on this vibration. If no, it's nothing.
Sorry.
When we start chant Hare Krishna, and Krishna by his will can descend on this vibration. If he not will, this will be only vibration material.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
So we should pray to him too.
Correct. Yes, Prabhu. Very nice. Yeah, so Prabhu is saying we should chant with love and heart so that Krishna can actually descend in our tongue, on our tongue and in our hearts. And heart is the seat of our desire. Whatever desires we have, while chanting, that Krishna will actually look at that and reciprocate with that.
So mechanical chanting will not work.
No, it's not it will not work. It will work, but it will be like a bullock cart and a BMW.
Yeah, sorry, it will be what?
It will be little slow. The progress might be little slow, but if we are chanting sincerely, then the progress will be very fast. Because it depends what our desires are in the heart, and when we chant with the heart, then our desires will start coming what we want from Krishna. So if we want just Krishna in our heart, then Krishna will reciprocate with us. If we want something else when we are chanting, then Krishna will reciprocate in that way.
Yes, of course, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.